On today's episode of Watch JR Go, we are going somewhere I have always wanted to go. I'm telling you, a lifelong dream. And the first time I'm ever getting to go, we're buying an incredible car, the most prestigious car that has ever been on this channel. What is going on, guys? I am Watch JR Go, and today, like I said, we are at a place that I have always wanted to go to. And for the very first time, we are here to buy a car. Now, I'm here with my friend Brandon from Sullivan's Auto House here in Wichita, and he bought my AMC Pacer from me. And after the Pacer sold, we've talked about a few other things. I borrowed that,
camper van.
Yeah, I was trying to think of the real name for it. It's like a Vanagon or what?
Yeah, the
Westphalia. I forgot what it was called for a second. I borrowed the Westphalia from him, and then he called me and said, do you want to be half owner of Lloyd Stearman's Mercedes 220S? And I said, absolutely I do. What could be cooler than that? A car owned by a true aviation legend who was born in Kansas, went to the best school in Kansas, K-State.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll disagree there.
All right, I don't care about that football game where they unanswered 3 touchdowns in a row last weekend.
Forget that part.
But the best school in Kansas. And then went on to start the Stearman Aircraft Company after he joined the Navy, if I remember right. A huge aviation history where he was a pilot in the Navy, and then built his own aircraft company and built one of the most popular trainer aircrafts of all time, the Model 75. Now, hopefully, we're gonna take this Mercedes and drive over to a Stearman and take it flying, but that's not happening in this video. You better stay tuned to the rest of the series and subscribe if you wanna see all of that awesomeness. We might even take it to the old Stearman aircraft plant.
Totally shit. Grab a burger.
It's all here in town.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool. So, I'm gonna show you guys this car that Brandon just signed all the paperwork on, and then when we're done with it, it will be for sale. But if you wanna own a legendary piece of aviation history, Lloyd Stearman's actual car, well, we're gonna get this thing running, bring it back to life. It's been living in the Kansas Aviation Museum for a long time, and we're gonna put this all together and sell it right here on the channel. Well, maybe on Bring a Trailer, but
yeah.
Or Cars and Bids. Let us know, Daddy Doug. Now, whether you're looking for your dream car, another daily driver, or a 1960 Mercedes 220S, you should head on over to the sponsor of today's video, Autotempest.com, right now to start your search. Autotempest allows you to search all the major car listing sites with one simple search and gives you incredible options to filter those results. You can filter by transmission, fuel type. If you're looking for an old Mercedes diesel, that is the easiest way to sort all the gasoline ones right off of the page. So Autotempest can do the work of searching Cars.com, AutoTrader, Car Gurus, Hemmings, eBay, even Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace, and it has very cool features like their price history feature. You can click on the price and sometimes see all of the previous prices and price drops that might have happened to that exact car you're looking for along its journey to hopefully your driveway. I use Auto Tempest all the time because it makes my life very easy. I don't have to go search through pages and pages and pages of results. They're all right there in front of me, and you should too. So hit the link in my description and get started searching out Auto Tempest today. Autotempest.com, all the cars, one search. Now, let's get back to work on the Mercedes. This is it. This is Lloyd Stearman's Mercedes 220S that has been to Germany, guys. This is so cool. Look at this. It's got a tag on the glove box there. U.S. State Department 296, Germany. So this was his personal car that went to Germany, and it's in incredible shape. It's lived in this museum all its life. I'm not sure why they're selling it. Did you? Yours?
Need room for a plane.
I figured.
They've got a funk plane coming in that they need room for. Yeah.
It was like the perfect area for another plane. That is true. So let's see what they have to say about it here. So it's a 1960 Mercedes-Benz 220. It's really cool having this exhibit info piece right here to know what's going on with it. But it's a Fintail 220, Lloyd Stearman's car from Germany, and it's 110 horsepower, straight six, twin carb, 103 mile an hour top speed, probably just because it weighs an absolute ton. And it was additionally equipped with dual ignition coils and altimeter, which is very cool. I'll show you guys that here in a second. Obviously, somewhere in the 30s, Lloyd Stearman was basically forced out of his own aircraft company, which had, through a stock exchange, been kind of absorbed by Boeing. And then he went on to work at Lockheed, and then left Lockheed, and then retired as an engineer at Lockheed. So he never left aviation and just lived his life with this amazing car. Now, before we get out of here, let's take a quick look around the Kansas Aviation Museum. I want to come back and spend an entire day here because it would be incredible, but look at all these incredibly cool things right beside the car. An opposed 6-cylinder engine. Is this a radial 12, 10? It's a lot. It's got a lot. Got started.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah, 9. What the heck?
I always have to do that too. I have to put a finger somewhere.
Well, yeah, because 9 was so weird. I'm like, surely
Yeah.
I did that wrong. And then I kept getting the same number.
Dual shaft-driven mags. How cool is that? Stick your finger right there. The Stearman trainer. This is the electronic. I didn't realize that it was that. Check that out. The ANT-18 flight instrument simulator. Very cool. It's kind of, it looks like a Stearman trainer. What are your thoughts, Jake? You're the sim expert.
There's certainly a lot of stuff going on in there.
Certainly a lot of stuff. Look at this big electric motor. Oh, it must have some kind of clutch system
Yeah,
right here?
that's what I'm thinking. You think Fanatec made this?
Yeah, it's definitely a Fanatec. Maybe, I mean, it's better than Logitech.
Yeah, for sure. If it was Logitech, we would have lost the war.
Yeah. Amazing. This is so cool. I asked Jake if he saw the cruise control in this car because it is a 4-on-the-tree shifter. But take a look at that. Is that not the wildest thing you've ever seen? It's literally a lever.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a throttle lock like a motorcycle.
yeah.
So cool.
That's great. Does this have a year on it?
I don't know, but is it a paper can?
It is paper can. Don't squeeze it.
Yeah, that's crazy. Very cool. Don't pollute. Security, automobile first aid kit.
Forgot to use the turtle wax.
New water pump, new oil filter element right there, but original, so we can't use that. We gotta like leave that in the box. That is very cool. I wonder who made, oh, it's a man. Look at that. It's a man filter.
It's empty, but that's very cool.
Is the spare a Sears or original? It looks original.
He's doing a burnout.
The Mercedes power never stops.
We need more people.
Yeah. It is a beautiful old car, and it was insane getting it out of here, guys. We had to disconnect their doors. They brought it through the atrium here at the Kansas Aviation Museum, which used to be the actual airport here in Wichita, and they ran 600 flights a day through here, which is just absolutely crazy. Whew. Let's take a look at some history real quick. Well, they start hooking this thing up. Building was built in 1930 and completed after securing funding from the New Deal. Whew. Pretty cool. Now we got to rebuild their doors, put all their center posts back in, and then we can get out of here. First drive. All right, I know it doesn't count. But she is moving off the tow truck and really kind of rolling. The brakes were stuck on, but it looks like it might have been figured out here. Well, we just got the Stearman Mercedes off the tow truck and into the shop, and we've already seen a few things we need to fix just getting it onto the tow truck. First of all, the rear diff was leaking massively. The museum had mats and things hidden under the rear end of it just so they could catch all the leaks. And the clutch pedal was all the way on the floor, and there's a brake sticking. So that's quite a few things, and we haven't even started making a list of what's actually wrong with this thing so we can get it back on the road. So let's jump in here. I want to take you guys on a tour of this 1960 Mercedes Fantail, and hopefully you think it's as cool as I do. It looks like 03 is the last time it had been driven, but the California tag, if I remember right, says that it's stickered in, okay, 93 is the last time it was stickered in California, which is where Lloyd Stearman retired, in LA working for Lockheed. So we've got these Missouri stickers, and it is a Missouri titled car, so that's the last place it actually resided before living in the museum for many, many years. This does have black single stage paint, which looks very, very rough, and we are absolutely not going to touch the paint. I love all the patina on it. I think it will definitely come back and it could really shine if that's what you wanted. But I think the patina lends to the history of this car a lot. Look at those super cool vents under the hood there going in to help cool the engine, the stacked GE lights, the markers that are symmetrical. Everything about this car is really, really cool. And I love Stearman's mods to the car so he could fly this thing on the ground. Also, I'm gonna show you guys something else that's very, very cool. There's a window crank, as you would expect, and a door handle, as you would expect, but were you expecting to turn a knob and open the wing windows? And they work perfectly. This car is very aircraft inspired, and it's possible this car also helped inspire aircraft. It's incredibly cool to have a wing window that is turned with like a mechanical gearbox there. And honestly, it actually works. Unlike all the American ones, those are the worst windows on the planet. These ones work great. The American ones are always stuck and break, and these are working perfectly. 60 years after the fact too. You gotta mention that it's 60 years out. Now, as soon as they turned the steering wheel in here, the Mercedes cap popped off. So I wonder if it was glued on or something like that. It does look, oh, it might have been held on by those little tabs right there too. But that was sitting on there in the museum. And as soon as they turned it, there was a pop and she fell right off. Wow, the horn ring on this is very, very cool. It actually pushes backwards when you push on the ring. Aftermarket electronic tack, because it didn't have one from the factory. A vacuum gauge with inches of mercury, which is super cool. And over here we've got an amp meter with the 4 on the tree. I'm pretty sure it's 4 on the tree. We're not 100% sure, but it only makes sense. And I do still love his cruise control, which is just a throttle lock. Huh, there's a mystery button right there. I wonder what this does. A Motorola radio, transistor powered, and an analog clock. What do we have here? Ooh, what an ashtray. This is from a generation where people really smoked. You've got cigarette holders all the way across, an ashtray in the back, a AAA, please fasten seatbelt sign, and just pull. Being really careful, but there's still some noises where the wood veneer has started to kind of touch other parts. Yep, it's the veneer, that's for sure. And these vents are also very cool. How do you, that must be lights. What's this one? Okay, I don't know what that one is. This one also appears to be lights, and this really seems like it's outside air. I don't think that's how you should have to open it, but it could be. And then of course, Stearman's altitude indicator right there, a forecaster altimeter. We have a Sears air conditioner, and on the back there's a sticker that says it's Sears air conditioned. And not only that, this thing sits on Sears tires that are very, very outdated, but we are not going to replace them because it's also an important part of the story that we don't want to ruin. So the tires are branded Sears Allstate right there. Well, they are tubeless, but that is a very cool old tire. it was probably in really good shape until they dry rotted. It's not like any of us have ever seen a Sears tire in our lifetime, so you know they are very, very old. Now I know I already showed you guys what's going on inside the trunk. Full size spare that looks to be original. The jack is in there, everything's in there, but I love these vents coming off the rear C-pillar there. And also the wraparound glass looks very, very cool. You gotta love the visibility in this car. It's probably incredible to drive. You can see everywhere. Look at those blind spots. It's got 2-inch blind spots. You can see right through them. You don't see modern cars like that, that's for sure. The opposing wipers are very, very cool, even though it looks like one of them drug a little bit. So we're gonna have to try to find a replacement for this chrome wiper blade there, or polished wiper blade. The mirror was missing, the antenna was gone, and that's just how we found it. So not much we can do about that. Let's get this hood open and take a look at the power plant. I didn't even look. They asked if I wanted to open it in the museum. I said no, wasn't worried about it. Look at this. Oh. She opens real quick. She's got a spring-loaded thing in there. Wow, very nice. Go Mercedes. Oh, it's not a spring-loaded thing, it's a torsion bar. Look at that, it's got a torsion bar like an old school trunk right across the front. Huh, well that works out very, very well. Look at this battery, guys. This looks terrible. It blew all the acid, it's all down the fender. We gotta clean all the acid out of there. We're gonna have to do a little work to get all that nice and clean. Made in Western Germany, very cool. We got a nameplate right there. And an Exide battery. Haven't seen one of those in a million years. I'm sure they're not around. I think it was Continental or something like that. What do we have here? This must be the dipstick, right? Oh yeah, 220 Knecht dipstick. There's oil. Ooh, 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 ooh. We're going back in. The oil actually looks really nice. The oil was nice and clean, so it was probably, you know, I don't think this thing's really been driven since Lloyd Stearman owned it. We do have a belt on the water pump and the fan, which is cool, but the belt for the AC compressor, missing. Ooh, that's a crunchy pulley. I think that's what failed, because the compressor for the AC actually sounds pretty nice. I'm sure this thing's R12, which is interesting. That's kind of a cool deal, but you gotta add a second pulley. The bearing might be okay, but it feels very tight. Kind of like they crushed it. Let's check some fluids here. See what we're really getting into. I don't know if it's empty, but it's not up to the very top level on the radiator. So if there is anything in there, we can't see it. I think the plaque in the museum did say it had a dual mag ignition system, which I definitely don't think that's what this is, but it has it says magneto on this coil, and then it has another coil. So that's kind of interesting. And then there's this box here. I think he just loved airplanes so much that he wanted dual mags. And I'm just assuming, because the wires all go to these coils. Is that off? Is that ignition off? And that's coil number 2. Ooh, and this wire goes to a coil and it came off. At least it pretty clearly goes right there. We might have to do some real figuring to see what was going on to make all this magic happen. We need this boot. We need this boot. Let's look at the brakes. We need the hose for the washer fluid. It's broken off. Needs a new T. Actually, I think we need all new hose for the washers. We're gonna have a laundry list. Cool horn, it's huge. Huge horns. Horns are this big. When's the last time you saw 6-inch horns on a car? I really wanna get some power on it just to hear the horns. A very interesting fuse block right here with those old school ceramic-y encrusted fuses. So that's kind of cool. I like that they're numbered underneath. This looks like a 1/4-inch jack. I think it is a quarter. You know what? I think it's accessory power. That must be what that is 12-volt power. And then let's take a look at the brakes. Well, that's not a good sign. Lid's cracked. Rust. And 0 fluid. No fluid in there. Maybe needs a brake master. And clutch fluid, since the clutch is on the floor, 100% empty. Ooh, trash in there. So I don't know if they emptied this out or if people were playing with it or what was going on, but we're missing a lot of important things to go driving. Like everything. We're missing everything but oil. Brady and I got bored and pushed this thing a little farther onto the lift where it needs to live for quite a while now, but I do want to talk about the engine a little bit more. This is a 2.2 liter inline 6-cylinder, as you guys saw on that placard there in the museum. On the S models, it makes 110 horsepower instead of 94, which is pretty cool. And I guess this is a Lloyd Stearman thing because, you know, redundancy. So it's got dual carbs, even though they're not really gonna help you because you basically lose 3 cylinders based on the log intakes on these. And then dual ignition, and he had this thing set up to be his ground airplane. So honestly, I think it's a very, very cool old story. I love the history of it. I love Stearman's, and hopefully after we get this thing running, like I said, we can go drive to the old Stearman plant and show it off to you guys there. So stay tuned, subscribe, make sure you're watching the W111 story, and we'll get this thing to live again. I don't know if we're gonna get the air conditioning to live though, because charging that thing with R12, that's a tall order. That is it for today, guys. Thank you so much to Auto Tempest for sponsoring today's episode. Don't forget to hit the link in the description below, and don't forget to head on over to shopwatchjericho.com for cool shirts just like this. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, and I will talk to you next time. There are literally piles of battery acid down there, and luckily it was stored inside. I mean, it was a slow death, and it must have sat for the last, I mean, the title said 92 or something. So I figure this thing probably hasn't moved since 92.
Yeah.
But
you could do that old trick where you just pour boiling water on the acid and it'll just wash it away.
will it?
I've tried it before, it worked on mine.
Okay,
But,
that's a good idea.
Yeah. And then stick
like,
a copper penny next to the negative terminal.
well, there's no juice, so will that work?
Oh, no, that's for future.
Okay.
For future, yeah.
Oh, you're saying to prevent corrosion.
Yeah.
I usually do the anti-corrosion rings.
Oh, yeah, I'm a little cheap.
they're $2.
It's a penny.
Yeah, I get it, you're right.
What is it, a 200% increase? Or, no,
Yeah, it's
way
an
more than
order of
that.
magnitude.
It's a 2,000%.
I'd say that's an order of magnitude.
I like it.
That's
I like
hilarious.
being cheap.
Check out this worm clamp. That is a very cool worm clamp. It's it's not spring loaded, but it's a pop over one. So you
Oh,
can,
really?
Yeah, you can quickly release it, it looks like.
I don't want to try it. I don't want to
Yeah, you have to loosen it and then pop it up.
Oh, good thing, yeah,
Something.
I stopped myself because I would have just bull in China shop. That's how I typically go.
This must be a distributor advance indicator or something like that, timing indication. And then this is the vacuum advance. Yep, sure is. Very cool. The wires don't seem like they're in the world's greatest shape, but probably fine.
You know, I think you just repair them.
Yeah, I think we just get this running, you know, maybe the Masters. The Masters would be very nice to have.
Yeah, stopping and going.
Yeah, you do need a stop go. And then I think all the rest of this actually works. Once we get in here, it probably works just fine. I bet it starts right up.
I hope so.
Except the carbs and the fuel system. That's going to be a nightmare.
Yeah, you know, it's just some seafoam.
Just some seafoam.
Yeah, just pick it up at O'Reilly's.
Well, just a little bit of seafoam. Yeah, you sure can.
You know what you could do with this? Can't you put propane in these?
You sure can.
I mean...
People do it. I've never done it, but people do it.
Yeah.
Yep. What a horsepower thief, man. If this made 110, that takes 20 of it.
Probably. I mean, look at the size of this thing.
Oh, absolutely. That's 20 horsepower down. Do you feel how sticky that bearing is? You can actually feel it. It like click, 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 click as you turn it. Keep turning it. It's very clicky. I think they over tightened it and smashed
it. Feels like a fidget toy.
It does. I think they smashed her a little hard.
Yeesh.
But I mean, bearing's no big deal, and getting that belt on there, no big deal. Look, there's another idler down under the fan. How's that one? Oh, that one's great.
Butter.
Beautiful.
Butter.
Cool.
Heck
Well,
yeah.
we just need to make this thing drive, and that's really it. I don't want to do a restoration. I want to make literally Lloyd Stearman's car see the road again, and that's about as far as we're taking this. Maybe somebody else wants to restore a car like this, but I think it needs to be passed on for just absolutely as is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't.
For the next generation.
I'm not a fan of body work. I've done it a few times. It's it's a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
I would rather much just cut a hole and just weld it on there because I know how to weld.
I think really like going too far and cleaning this up takes a lot of the history away that museum kept, and it's a driver. It was his driver. It has 200,000 kilometers on it or something.
It's like 160,000 miles?
Yeah. It was truly driven. And
Up until whenever.
Yep. Crazy stuff.
This baby.
Yeah, it is a little
Everything
baby.
up here is baby.
It's just the condenser, obviously, but I like how the condenser mounts with like the erector set brackets. That's very cool.
Keep it
too.
simple.
Keep it simple.
This will be fun.
Yep, class, and look at a poster of a starship on the wall.
I've got a Starship poster that came with the new house. I'm so happy about.
Dude, coolest plane that was a complete flop.
Yep. The
And
coolest.
Honda Jet.
Probably-
Honda Jet's also cool.
Yeah, the Honda Jet's the opposite of a flop.
Really? I thought they were selling real bad.
Yeah, they sell tons of them though. So sick. Ooh, 135s or 46s. Can't see how many engines because we're like at the perfect view. How many engines you got?